Ooh, let's go, Commanders fans. We got a couple preseason games tonight, but I just wanted to talk about an update, a Terry McLaurin update, a small one from John Keim, and then another small one from Jeremy Fowler. Now, these are kind of things that we already have known or some people have said, but I guess in a sense, I'll say the John Keim one is a little bit positive. And then, of course, I want to talk about not keys to victory, but just players to watch. I guess I'll say that. Players to watch and players to look at for tomorrow night's game against the Patriots. So I'm looking forward to that for sure. So, all right. So I guess we'll talk about either we should. I'm trying to decide if I should talk about the preseason game tomorrow or talk about Terry first and just bury the lead here. But of course, the Bengals and the Eagles play tonight, so I'm excited to see that game too. That's the one preseason game that I'm really going to be laser focused on tonight. I know the Eagles are not going to play their starters, but the Bengals are, and we play the Bengals next week on Monday Night Football. They're playing their starters. Now, we beat them last year on Monday Night Football, but of course it's a different year, different defense, and all that. But I do want to see them cook the Eagles tonight, even though it's the Eagles' backups. I hate the Eagles that much. I just want to see them get blown out in that first quarter or first half that Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and Mike Gesicki and all those guys play. I want to see them run the score up in that first quarter. I really do. I want to see that happen. All right. So let's talk. I guess we'll talk about Terry first. Let's talk about what John Keim had to say on his podcast yesterday or his YouTube channel yesterday. He said, I think Washington could get to $28 million. I just don't know if that would be enough for Terry McLaurin's side. Now, this kind of sounds like an Adam Schefter type thing where Adam Schefter said, I think I can, I think this, and I think that. Now, John Keim, of course, is hearing this from somewhere. Adam Schefter heard it from somewhere. $28 million, I think, is respectable. I think that's a respectful offer. Now, what Jeremy Fowler had to say, I'll go over what Jeremy Fowler said very quickly because it coincides, of course, or correlates here with what John Keim had to say. So Jeremy Fowler says, quote, he has wanted metrics of the DK Metcalf contract. This stuff that we've heard before many, many times before within the last 2 or 3 weeks. So back to what Jeremy Fowler says again, which is $32 million. I'm told the Commanders have only been slightly above where he was from before, which is $23 million. So take that gap, that's $7 million to $8 million that they have to bridge. And Washington, I'm told, has to get some calls about Terry. I'm told the Commanders have got some calls about Terry McLaurin. There's some interest league-wide. So all that stuff is stuff that we already know. We know the Steelers gave us a call. Wouldn't be surprised if the Raiders gave us a call. They haven't reported the Raiders. I'm trying to think who else would be interested. The Colts, the Raiders, the Colts, the Chargers. I feel like they would definitely be looking for another guy to pair up next to Lad McConkey. And there's some other teams that would definitely be interested in Terry McLaurin's services. I mean, we just went up to the Patriots. We're still in Foxborough right now, but I think it was either Lake Lewis. He was talking to somebody who was like, yeah, the Patriots really, really, really want Terry McLaurin. And I know they would be willing to pay that $30 million. Now, the draft capital, we're not trading Terry anyway, but just hypothetically speaking, the draft capital would probably be like a second and a fifth. That's what DK Metcalf got traded for. So I think it would be something like that. But the Patriots would be willing to pay that $30 million. They wouldn't even blink twice. They would just give him the $30 million, where Adam Peters is playing hardball. And I get it, 30, he's going to be 31, so I get the argument and all that. I would still pay him $30 million anyway. But I get what Adam Peters is standing on, and he's standing firm to it. But what John Keim said to me is a little bit more positive, that he's moving from, and Terry's buddy said on Twitter that $25 million is disrespectful. I agree with that. To go from he's already getting paid 22 and a half, just to go from 22 and a half to 25 mil is pretty disrespectful. I think 28 is a respectful offer. Terry may still say no, because I think Terry is very, very still fixated on having a 3 in front of that number. I think having a 3 in front of the annual average or AAV number would appease Terry. Now, Buddy Baker, I don't know if it's Buddy or Terry who are super duper fixated on the DK Metcalf contract. And then Dianne Rossini yesterday said that it doesn't have to necessarily be above DK. It's about the guarantees. So, like I said, we're hearing so much from so many different beat reporters. Even Stephen A. Smith chimed in and said he's hearing $27 million. And then John Keim saying that they could get up to 28. So the more national media that gets involved, the more beat reporters, the more he and she and hearsay and stuff like that. She said, everybody's coming up with their numbers that they've been hearing. So it does get a little murky here. But like I said, I think 30 is a respectful deal. It's something that that I feel like would be respectful for Terry to come to an agreement and get this deal done. And keep it pushing, man, because, we saw what happened with Ja'Cory Brooks on that drop in the red zone. He made a really nice one-handed catch, but he had a drop. Chris Moore fell, and the defense has been dominating against the receivers in practice, but they play against the Patriots in practice, and Demario Douglas goes crazy. Keishawn Boutte catches a touchdown on Marshawn Lattimore. I get it was a tough pass and a nice pass and a nice catch. But, you got to take a little bit, I still think our secondary is going to be good, but you see they're going up against, Chris Moore and Ja'Cory Brooks running with the ones. So you kind of have to take that with salt a little bit. But like I said, I think 30 mil is fair. And I think that's fair. But like John Keim said, maybe Terry doesn't believe that's fair. And so Jeremy Fowler also said the Washington Commanders and wide receiver Terry McLaurin remain locked in a classic standoff, according to ESPN's Jeremy Fowler. Fowler reported Thursday on Get Up that teams are reaching out to Washington about acquiring the two-time Pro Bowler, but that Washington isn't budging in terms of entertaining that possibility. They have been far apart. I'll put it this way. The NFL Insider said he wanted metrics of the DK Metcalf contract. I already read that to you. So $7 million. So he says, so Washington has only been slightly above where he was from before, which is $23 million. So take that gap at $7 to $8 million. So I guess 25 plus 7 is 32. That's the $7 million gap. So, all right, I'll end it there on Terry. Like I said, Terry's going to play this year. They're not trading him. Even if they don't extend him, he's going to play. He's not a guy that's going to sit out games and take the fun. He's not going to do a Hassan Reddick. That's just not going to happen. Now, that would make him very upset in his camp, very upset, and make it a tough situation and a very uncomfortable situation for sure in the front office and the building. But, of course, him and his teammates would be fine. He would go out there and be a professional and still get his 1,000 yards, and Jaden would still ball out and get him the football. But after that, are you going to franchise tag him, which is going to be $30 million if you franchise tag him? So, it's a dicey situation for sure. It's a dicey situation. But I think 28 to 30 is definitely a fair number, and then put the guarantees at 56. Cortland Sutton got, $41 million guaranteed? So you can go way above the guarantees that Cortland Sutton got. And I think that would be very, very, a very respectful contract for Terry McLaurin. Yeah, Cortland got $40 million guaranteed. And I think DK got $60 million guaranteed. So 55 would be about right, in my opinion. All right, so let's talk about the guys that I'm looking forward to playing. I'm just going to do rapid fire here, so you can really lump all the receivers. I do want to see Braylon Sanders, the DC defender guy, of course. I really do want to see him play. He's not going to make the roster, but I do want to see him play. I do want to see Chris Moore. Somebody needs to show out. Somebody needs to catch the football. Somebody needs to make a big play. Hold on to the football is a big thing. Create separation. Make a play downfield. Move the chains. Michael Gallup. Somebody needs to stand up. KJ Osborne, I heard, has been radio silent so far in training camp. Michael Strachan made a big play yesterday. Can he keep that up? Can he make a big play tomorrow night? Who else? Big play Tay Martin. He's not going to make the roster, but somebody make a play. How does Jalen Lane look? As a punt returner, as a receiver, how does he look out there? Does the speed translate? I think it will. Does it translate tomorrow night? Jacoby Jones had a touchdown catch yesterday. What does he do? Luke McCaffrey, second-year player. A lot of people have been going in on him, but he made a play yesterday. He made a touchdown catch from Jaden Daniels yesterday in the joint practice. So how does he look? How does he play as a second-year guy? Cliff Kingsbury said he's been night and day or made a big leap from last year. So I want to see that happen. I want to see how he plays tomorrow. Can he move the chains? Can he get open and create some separation? So that's what I'm looking at. That's what I'm looking for. I'm really looking at Luke, man. I'm really looking at Luke, because everybody, he created a lot of separation last year, and he's going to be playing against second-string guys for the most part. No Christian Gonzalez. He's injured, and whoever's starting for them, they probably will not start for the Patriots. And he probably will play 2 quarters. He probably will play a whole first half, maybe even into the third quarter, playing with Josh Johnson and Sam Hartman. So he's a veteran of this team. He's been here before. He did make a nice catch on Monday Night Football last year for 20 yards. So let's see what Luke can do, man. Let's see what Luke can do. I'm excited to see what Luke can do. Ben Sinnott, another second-year guy. He had a good preseason last year against the Jets. He had a good game last year against the Jets, so let's see what he does. I'm definitely looking at him, watching him. Johnny Newton, another second-year guy that didn't have a big year last year. Came back from some injuries or foot injuries last year. Didn't make he had a couple solid games, but wasn't super impactful for a second-round pick. I get it. He's a rookie, so you definitely have to temper expectations there, but I do want to see him make more of an impact this year. Matt Gay, the kicker. We had a kicking problem last year for sure, so I want to see how he looks. Carlin Vidgers had a nice pass breakup yesterday. I don't think he's going to make the roster, but I do want to see how he does against their corners. Keishawn Butte had a touchdown against Marshawn Lattimore, and Mac Hollins was cooking. Demario Douglas was cooking. Like, all the receivers were cooking yesterday. Josh Dobbs was cooking yesterday in joint practice. So I want to see the cornerback room look good, even if it is just the second string guys. I know Trey Amos is not going to play, Marshawn's not going to play, or Mikey's not going to play. John Jones might play. We'll see. He might play. I don't think he's going to play. He may not play. We'll see. But Bobby Price, Kayvon Seymour, who steps up? Force them to pick a sixth guy on the roster. Make a play, get an interception, take the ball away, ball is life. Somebody make a play. Noah I don't think he may not play either, since he's a very important guy to the team. Tyler Owens, he's got a lot of preseason hype. He's playing in the nickel, he's playing in the slot. He's a big hitter. He's a special teams guy. He's quick, he's fast. So I want to see him make a play. Can he take the ball away? Can he make a big hit on somebody? Can he force a fumble? Can he stop the run? I want to see Tyler Owens out there flying around for sure. Rob McDaniel, too, the guy from Jackson State, the safety, the UDFA. Does Jeremy Reeves play? Does he start? You know, they want him to get more snaps than just being on the special teams. They want to see him do more than being a special teams All-Pro. So how does Jeremy Reeves look out there in the preseason? Percy Butler, we'll see if he plays. He may not play. Keim Medrano is a guy I really, really, really want to see. He's had a heck of a preseason. I was there in person last week, and the speed is real. The reaction time is real. The reflexes are real. Just being near the football is real. All that is real. He had a really nice pass break. He had a nice interception against Sam Hartman as well. But the tackling is the question mark for him. So I do want to see that tomorrow, because Jordan McGee's not playing. And, of course, the starters aren't going to play. But Jordan McGee is the guy that needs to play. And it's really Kane versus Dominique Hampton. I don't really think Dominique Hampton's going to make the roster. I really don't. I think they're only going to keep 5 linebackers. I only think they're going to keep Kane, Bobby, Frankie, Jordan McGee, and special teams ace Nick Bellore. So I don't really see them keeping Dom Hampton. But if Dom Hampton plays better than Kane in the preseason games, then you got to keep Dom, or keep 6, if they both play well. So they're really competing, in my opinion. That's the big matchup for me at the linebacker spot. Defensive tackle or defensive end, Javonte Jean-Baptiste. Is he going to play tomorrow? I know there's some guys that are going to be out that they named. Javonte Jean-Baptiste is not playing, so that would have been a good opportunity for him to get some reps. Sheldon Day, Carl Davis, some of the backups. Andre Jones Jr., I heard he had a good day in the joint practice. TJM, the rugby guy, I want to see him play. And Fehoko, the defensive tackle, man. He had a good college career, so I want to see what he does. I've basically named like 20 guys, but I haven't even said JCM yet. JCM has had the biggest preseason hype. I think the hype is real, but I do want to see it under the lights. And he's been chomping at the bit because he only played 2 games last year. He only played in the East-West Shrine All-Star game, and then he only played in the first game of the season last year. So he's super duper fresh. The jump cuts, the elusiveness, the violent cuts. I want to see that tomorrow night. I want to see that. And I want to see ball security too. He had a fumble or a mix-up with Jaden Daniels yesterday, so just clean that up. And then Sam Hartman versus Josh Johnson. That's the obvious with the quarterback battle there. Some low-key guys I will say, though. Lawrence Cager. And Colson Yankoff too. Those guys are athletes. They are athletic tight ends. Cole Turner is not super athletic, but Lawrence Cager and Colson Yankoff are athletes. They're athletes and a half at the tight end position, and I want to see what those guys can do tomorrow night. I mean, we've seen Lawrence Cager in the NFL before. I have, with the Giants. And then Cole Turner he usually does well. He was terrible in the preseason last year. But that one year with Sam Howell, he had a good preseason. So does he stick around and prove a point again to be on the practice squad and have his career is on life support? The heart is still beating on the practice squad, but we'll see if he does enough to make the practice squad again this year. Offensive lineman Michael Dieter, he's going to start. It looks like Michael Dieter How does he look out there? Nick Allegretti may start. Tim McKay, Julian Good-Jones, Lucas Niang, the guy they just signed. So I want to see what he does out there. Bobby Hart. He was with the Giants with OG Bobby Johnson. And Josh Connolly, if he plays. Again, if Harold Landry plays or some of the other defensive ends, how does he look against those guys? So those are all, I basically named, like I said, 20 guys, which I knew I was going to do that. But those are the things that I'm looking for. Slowing down the run, because we struggled with that last year. Even if it is the second string, I just want to see some resemblance of slowing down the run game. Ramondre Stevenson, I don't think he's going to play. Tragon Henderson is a dog. That's who I wanted to draft. I was very high on Tragon Henderson. I was definitely, he wasn't I don't think he was my first option at pick 29, but I definitely wanted to bring him in and draft him at pick 29. Like, I would not have minded that at all. Drafting a running back, because I loved his pass protection. I love his elusiveness, his explosiveness, and the way he catch the football out of the backfield and just make big plays. So I would have loved that pick at 29. I really would have loved it. All right, so that's really it, guys. You guys let me know if there's anybody else that you want to see. We don't have any competition for Matt Gay at all. That's the thing, too. Like, he's the only kicker on the roster, which is interesting. And then punt returning, too. Jalen Lane, no muff punts, north-south. If you got to, do some wiggling and stuff like that. That's what I want to see. I want to see some elusiveness at the punt returner spot, which should be fun to watch with Jalen Lane. I don't want him to, try to do too much going backwards like Dante Hall or whatever. But I do want to see some make a guy missing the phone booth stuff from Jalen Lane, which he's certainly capable of doing. So, all right, you guys let me know what you guys think as always. Hello, Commanders. Peace.